The radio button on the screen gets you through to us in the studio. Where can people check your music out if they're liking what they hear?
Well, I suppose you just go to www.tommartinmusic.com.
Yeah.
And there's stuff with Helena and me, there's stuff with the band there, and various other things, you know. So, and come to the Tower of Song.
Yes, definitely come to the Tower of Song.
And I'm hoping, you know, that people in other areas can do likewise, you know, especially where things are going these days, where places are closing.
Yeah.
If someone like me can take a derelict building and run it just for the music and keep it running for 6.5 years, I'm sure other younger musicians could get together, find a derelict building, fix it up, embarrass PRS and the Musicians Union in doing something for musicians. Because I've got to pay a big license fee to PRS every year, and every year they ring up, and every year I tell them I'm not going to pay. And that way somebody from PRS gets in touch with me, a real person, you know, instead of you dealing with a call centre or something like that. And I say, I ask them, what have they done for musicians in the Midlands? And all they have done, according to their own admission, is put a plaque up on a wall at a pub in Birmingham. And I said, well, that's not good enough.
No.
You know what I mean? You get all this money, you should at least be putting it on the street level, especially now. Don't be sending me glossy magazines about the X Factor and stuff like that. The majority of musicians are out struggling to try and keep it going, and PRS should live up to its name and help them a bit more, particularly in the Midlands. So if you're listening, PRS, do something.
Yes, definitely. So it is a massive struggle to run this building.
Well, it's more of a lifestyle thing, Dave. You know, if you're doing it to make money, you know, you're going to hide into nothing, as they say. But it swings and roundabouts, the old cliches, you know. You have good periods where it's going well, but this past while back with the weather, you know, I wasn't able to open there for a couple of weekends. And, you know, because the bills still mount up, whether you're there or not, you know, you have to be open, you have to keep it going. But at the moment, I'm hopeful that it'll continue. 5 years is what I set out to do, but it's now 6.5. So I'm going to take it as far as I can, really. And then, as I say, my son has his own license and he runs it. And I'm looking to bring in some of the more modern sort of trends of music, or bring the two together. A lot of young people tend to make it on their computers, but there's something about a live music situation. I think it makes it stronger. You know, a lot of the people who are being painted on the walls, Hank Williams, Buddy Holly, the Beatles, etc., Creedence Clearwater Revival, I could play any of their songs just with a guitar or a piano and it'd still hold up. And I think that's because they were designed to be played live. And it's the greatest teacher, playing in front of people who you don't know, who don't necessarily know you. You can feel if they're getting off on it or not. Because your friends are either going to be ultra critical or think you're the greatest thing. So playing in front of people you don't know, who either like it or don't like it.
It's nerve-wracking, isn't it? Do you suffer from nerve? I don't think you do. But
I suppose I've done it so long now. You know, I just like playing. So it doesn't really bother me. And well, you're only human if you don't feel a little bit of tension here. And there's some situations can throw you off on, but I tend not to worry about it. I'm not really a perfectionist in recording or playing live. It's the sort of the general feeling I try to get together. I do try to play to a high standard, but I don't practice the guitar. I use it to write with. But I love a whole lot of music, and so I do find myself playing it. After a while, you're not practicing, you're just playing. I'm looking to learn, you know. You never stop learning, you know. There's so many musicians that come through. And you can learn from everyone, even if it's only what not to do. So, life is for learning, as they say.
What are your influences then, you two?
Well, Helena first, who's influenced?
In what? In music, I suppose. People like when I started with Rebecca, was people like Eve Casti, in terms of what I was able to do with the cello with this initially, and then through knowing Tom, certainly Bob Dylan, because I didn't know a lot of these, honestly didn't know much about these musicians originally, and then Tom's introduced me to lots of other music, and the bar generally. I mean, I've learnt some Rolling Stones, and I've learnt some people like Bert Jansch, because we did a song by Bert Jansch, for example, who I'd never heard of. So much music goes on there from so many different sources. So it's been wonderful, really.
Tom, what about your influences there?
Well, apart from the legendary names like Paul Simon and Bob Dylan and so forth, it would be the people who I've worked with, like Sam Cornwell, Bernie Hartley, John Strong would be another who I've learned a lot from over the years. And the bands that I've played in, Steve Gibbons is another guy I know a long time, so just being around people like that and watching what they do, and almost by osmosis you pick up things. And any of these musicians who are on the walls there, you know, I know something by everything, whether it's Van Morrison or whether it's Nina Simone or Chuck Berry, Glenn Wood McTell, and so on. To me, at this stage of my life, they're like colours, all these different musicians, I know them so well. So I try to, every so often, to give a different feel to a song of mine. In my head, I'll imagine, say, how somebody like Paul Simon would have sung it or approached it. It may not come out like that, but it just gives a different slant to it, you know. And Bert Jansch, John Martin, those sort of people who took the acoustic, blended the traditional with their own music, but would take traditional folk songs and put them in 5/4 time and things like that, and push things a little bit more than was happening at the time.
Is there anyone in your life that's helped you more than anyone else in your music career? That one person? For you?
I can't really think of. You know, I'm doing what I've always been doing. I just move from gig to gig. Some years where you think, oh, it's gone now, it's gone great. And then if you come back to playing wherever you can, and the music trends change. By the time I sort of came over to England and started playing, that whole sort of folk roots movement had moved on, and there was more jokey players in the folk clubs, people who didn't really play that much, Jasper Carrot and Mike Elliott. Nothing wrong with these people, they're very funny and so forth, but the fashion of the singer-songwriter had sort of gone. And now there's so many singer-songwriters everywhere. It's lost that impact. Because at the time when it started, it was unusual for people to write and sing their own material. People wrote for people like Elvis or Adam Faith or Cliff Richard, you know, but people like the Beatles and so forth, and Rolling Stones, who initially covered blues songs, but when they started to write songs, that really took them right through to today. Kinks is another, Ray Davies is an extraordinary songwriter. So all these people are in there.
Any one person helped you more than anyone else?
Famous person, you mean?
No, anything.
I was talking to my dad initially.
My
dad was the person who used to practice with me when I decided that I had to play the cello.
Was he a musician?
No, he was a head teacher actually, but he loved music, and he used to sit and beg piano. He used to just practice with me a lot, every single day, for about, until I went to Royal College of Music, and to get there I had to work really, really hard for 4 years to get in there, and my father was the one that gave up every minute he could to practice with me and encourage me. So I was very lucky indeed.
Okay, right, we're going to do another one.
Yes, mentioned about Worcester. I have in the past done a lot of busking.
Right.
And I have busked in Worcester quite a few times now. And I've got a song that I've mentioned over. It's called Busker's Blues.